Gambling has long ruined the lives of people who get hooked on its adrenaline rush, but online betting and games are becoming a dangerous new problem. That's the view of the Royal Society for Public Health, which has major concerns about gambling and its impact on people's lives. Shirley Cramer, chief executive of RSPH and chairwoman of the End High Cost Credit Alliance, says, "We are concerned about online gambling. The algorithms the industry uses target people who are already vulnerable gamblers. It's an area that needs urgent consideration by government and regulators. This is where the most vulnerable are preyed upon by the gambling industry." Ms. Cramer argues online is hidden, and many people gambling online would not use a high-street betting shop. She adds, online is an area where firms can still target people. There's also a worrying trend of people getting hooked on gaming and that addiction turning to gambling. People blame the victim, but they are targeted the same as those taking on payday loans and high-cost credit. Despite having 2 jobs, he still couldn't make ends meet. He ended up trapped in a cycle of earning a wage, gambling it away, then borrowing from payday lenders, and finding himself deeper in debt. He says, "Over the past decade I've had a fair share of hurdles to overcome, from addictions to grief and debts that felt unbeatable. Each month I would have the same determination to make it different. I would set out spreadsheets a week before payday, allocating money to each debt and expense. But I'd be forced to turn to payday lenders to make it through the month. I ended up with about 26 loans on the go, from all sorts of lenders. When one said no, I simply went to another." Danny, 29, from Manchester, adds, "When you're broke and have to live day to day, the cost of normal life is against you. It actually costs more to live life if you are struggling financially. That makes it impossible to get on top of your finances. Energy costs more when you get put on a prepaid meter and then get trapped on a standard tariff, while others can use comparison sites to find better deals. My daily bus ride to work cost me £4.80 a day. If I'd been able to buy a monthly pass, I'd have saved £74. But the large cost to buy a monthly pass felt too much, or a burden in case any of my lenders got threatening over repayments. It's the same as being unable to pay ahead, buy in bulk, or even spread the cost using finance. They all come with added penalties because you are poor or don't have the perfect credit score. If an appliance broke, I would be left with limited options, catalog store finance at extortionate interest rates, with the same items costing me at least double the amount of a person who can afford to buy up front. I hit rock bottom when my repayments hit £2,000 per month. I had to find a way to get out. Keeping my ever-growing burden quiet, as I couldn't admit my situation to friends and family, was leaving me anxious, and I'd lost all my confidence. My debts were totally beyond my means. Then I started to use the phrase "be honest" more. I decided there shouldn't be any stigma in holding your hands up and saying, "I need help." This was a major first step, and has enabled me to beat my gambling addiction and gradually take back control of my life. It has taken a long time to feel confident enough to say, I will be debt-free before I'm 30, and I'll stay there. It was because the poorest are being forced to pay the most for basics, bills and borrowing that we launched our Fair Credit for All campaign with Hollywood actor and activist Michael Sheen and his End High Cost Credit Alliance. We want to create affordable and fair credit for all and to help tackle the issues that force people into the hands of high-cost lenders. One of the organizations that has signed up to our campaign is Fair by Design. Director Lucy Russell says it's bad enough dealing with an all-encompassing debt problem, as Danny has described, but the fact that the loans industry takes advantage of this vulnerability is reprehensible. High-cost loans are just one of many poverty premiums, which mean that people who are poor end up paying more, a situation that is completely unfair and unjust. Danny has done an amazing job turning his life around, but it shouldn't just be down to people like Danny struggling with ways to avoid the poverty premium. As supporters of the Fair Credit for All campaign, we want to see businesses doing the responsible thing and making the cost of products fair for everyone, once and for all. Danny's honesty tips to becoming debt-free: 1. Be honest with lenders in your bank. I wrote to each company I owed money to and explained my situation to say I had less coming in than I was paying out. Most had no choice but to help me by freezing interest or allowing a payment break. Alongside this, I looked for a bank that was uncomplicated and charge-free. I chose Monzo, who don't charge any account. I was able to set up a gambling block on my account and get an agreement it would not try to lend me any money or overdraft while I was in debt. I also got lots of help and advice via the Monzo community. 2. Be honest with friends and family. Many couldn't offer me any financial help, but they understood why I couldn't go out every week or sing up to the group holidays planned. It gave me a breathing space and less pressure to have to keep up appearances. 3. Be honest to yourself. My budget used to be set to my last penny, no small savings pot or money to put aside for the what-if moments. By initially saving £20 a month, I now have peace of mind that if the unexpected happens, I am covered. 4. Be honest to your bank balance. Don't let extra money on the occasional month be a trigger to overcommit extra money to a debt or an extra big shop. It's better to keep a little so you end up in a better position longer term. 5. Be honest with your targets and goals. I used to try and set my plans based on where I thought I should be in life. First house deposit, but these just cause additional pressures you don't need. Set a single goal to begin with and add a few months onto the date. Then, say, when you repay the debt before the date you set, you can see you can do it and be ready to take on the next. Get free debt help. Don't struggle alone with debt. Get free help here. Your local Citizens Advice Bureau. The national debt line on 0808 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 800 84000. 800 Step changed at charity on 0800-138-1111. The Money Advice Service on 0800-138-7777. Fair Credit for All campaign with Michael Sheen's End High Cost Credit Alliance. We want to ensure everyone has access to fair credit. Together we will help cities, towns, and communities across the UK have access to fair and affordable credit, and experts who can help them to get finances back on track when people hit hard times. We are working our way around the country and aim to have 5 key areas confirmed as places where locals are no longer forced to pay rip-off interest rates and charges. Leeds has been given our first Fair Credit for All stamp of approval. For more on the campaign, click here or email us to get involved or to tell us about firms offering fair credit and help with finances at money@mirror.co.uk, marking the subject line Fair Credit for All. Read more top money stories